I'm proud to introduce author JP McLean to the program. Thank you so much for joining us here today on Primetime Local News.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here.
So, why exactly did you decide to write your book Ghostmark?
Ghostmark is the second in the Dark Dreams series of books, and it came naturally after book one. I actually had in mind a third book in the series, which I've already started writing. So Ghostmark continues the tale of Jane Walker, and it's set here on the West Coast. And Jane Walker is a character who was born with a string of blood red birthmarks that snake around her body. And she learns in book one that these birthmarks are in fact ritualized marks that were given to her in a ritual, an Inca ritual, and they protect her from a homicidal maniac. But in book one, during one of her debilitating dreams that she suffers from, she accidentally changed history and ruined a handful of lives of the people who are very close to her. So in book two, which is Ghostmark, she has the opportunity to fix that mistake that she made. But she has to make the decision, is it worth it to change history again and maybe come up with a completely different set of outcomes, or does she just go for it?
What do you think your book brings to its genre that makes it stand out?
Being set on the West Coast is one that makes it stand apart. And I don't read a lot about ritualized marks on people and how they are impacted by those marks. So those are two things that I think are unique to this story.
What would you like readers to know going into your book?
I want them to know they're going to be given a space to escape from whatever it is that's bugging them that day. That's the joy of reading to me, is just being able to escape the stuff that's happening in your everyday life. And these are terrific escapes. They're fast-paced, they're thriller-esque with that little bit of paranormal, supernatural thrown in just to keep you on the edge of your seat.
Is there an overall message to your book that you hope readers who read it take away?
Yes, as a matter of fact, there is. And it wasn't something that came to me right away, but as I started writing it, I realized that there was a message there. And that is the whole idea that you don't judge someone by what they look like. And you don't judge someone by what they necessarily do for a living, because people do what they need to do for a living, and there's nothing they can do about whatever marks they might have. And the clothing that people wear is often not indicative of who they are as a person.
So, what has the reader response been like so far to Ghostmark and the first book in the series?
It's been fantastic. As a matter of fact, the first book in the series has won several awards, and I'm very, very proud of those awards that it's won. The Global Book Award, it came in as a finalist on the Eric Hoffer Award, and went over in Britain called the Wishing Shelf Book Award. So it's been received very well. The reviews for it are quite good, and I'm very, very proud of it. The second book is already in the running for one award, and it has already received Literary Gold Titans. So I'm very pleased with the books, and I think the reviewers are too.
The storyline to your book sounds so interesting. What exactly was the initial inspiration for your book?
The seed of inspiration was the opening scene in an NBC TV show called Blind Spots, starring Jamie Alexander. And it was a couple of years ago now, but that opening scene showed a cleared Times Square in the middle of the night. There was a duffel bag dropped in the square, and a bomb tech was approaching this duffel bag with a Geiger counter, and he sees the zipper starting to unzip from the inside, and out pops this woman who is tattooed from the neck down. She doesn't know how she got the ink, why, who she is, or anything about her. And I thought it would be really interesting to explore how somebody lives with marks that weren't of their choosing. So that's how it started. And then I developed it from there, throwing in some Inca ritual just to keep it really interesting and different from what I've been reading out there.
I'd like to thank you again so much for joining us here today.
Thank you, Sarah.